Imagine a day filled with the chilling sound of mourning, a day when a kind elderly man breathed his last. This man, a beacon of love and spirituality, had lived a fulfilling life in the heart of a bustling joint family. His wife, his brother, his brother's 4 children, they all shared a roof, a life. But it was Bala, his youngest nephew, who held a special place in the man's heart. The day of the man's departure was as you'd expect, somber and heavy. The house was filled with hushed whispers and stifled sobs. His wife and brother, unable to contain their sorrow, wept openly. Amidst the sea of grieving faces, there was one that stood out, Bala. He was quiet, his face devoid of tears, his eyes distant. He stood alone, aloof, his silence as unsettling as the mournful wails that echoed around him. As the day wore on, Bala's peculiar behavior started to catch everyone's attention. There was something eerie about Bala's silence. He seemed to be in a world of his own. The day wore on, a heavy blanket of sorrow covering everyone. Bala, however, cut a solitary figure. He didn't mingle, he didn't speak, he barely moved. He was like a statue, a silent observer amidst the sea of grieving faces. His behavior was unsettling, a calm that felt out of place on such a mournful day. It was as though he had retreated into a shell, immune to the sorrow that was engulfing the household. Even when the time came to carry the body for the last rites, Bala remained unmoved. His name echoed through the house, pleas for him to step forward, to offer a shoulder, but he didn't react. His stillness was disturbing, his silence deafening. And when the body was finally being carried away, something chilling happened. Suddenly, Bala's voice echoed through the air, a voice that didn't seem to belong to him. It was a voice that echoed with a chilling familiarity, a voice that belonged to his dearly departed uncle. An eerie silence fell upon the crowd as Bala's shouts resonated through the air. "I want Bala, I want my Bala." Each word was a chilling reminder of the man we had just lost, each syllable a terrifying testament to the bond they shared. The air grew tense as Bala's screams grew louder, his voice eerily mirroring the tone and cadence of his late uncle. The mournful cries of the departed reverberated through the air, creating an atmosphere of dread that was palpable. It was as if the spirit of his uncle had taken hold of Bala, his words a haunting echo of a bond that transcended the confines of life and death. Suddenly, Bala started running towards the nearby well, his cries growing louder with each step. "I want Bala," he cried out in his uncle's voice, the desperation in his voice sending chills down our spines. As he sprinted towards the well, the crowd realized the danger. The mourners rushed forward in a desperate attempt to contain him. Yet, Bala had become a force to reckon with. His strength seemed to have multiplied as he pinned down 4 men who tried to restrain him. It took the combined efforts of 8 to 10 men to finally subdue him. They wrestled him to the ground, tying his hands to prevent him from causing harm. Through it all, Bala continued shouting, his cries echoing through the air. His father rushed forward, trying to comfort him, his words a soothing balm in the midst of the chaos. After what felt like an eternity, Bala's cries ceased. His body relaxed, the strength that had possessed him slowly ebbing away. His eyes, which were once filled with a terrifying intensity, now held a distant look, as if he was finally waking up from a terrifying nightmare. In the midst of the horror, something broke within Bala. Bala, now subdued, finally came to terms with the harsh reality. The calm that washed over him was as chilling as the echo of his uncle's voice that had filled the air moments before. It was as though the storm had passed, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. His face, previously ashen and cold, crumpled as he gasped for breath. A single tear slipped from his eye, then another and another until he was sobbing uncontrollably. His cries, unlike the terrifying shouts of before, were filled with a raw and poignant sorrow. This was not the voice of the departed, but the heartbreaking lament of a nephew mourning his uncle. The terrifying incident had left an indelible mark on everyone present. The mournful day had taken a turn for the horrifying, leaving them all shaken to their very core. When they looked at Bala, they no longer saw the boy who had grown up before their eyes, but a haunting reminder of the painful loss. A day that started with a mournful goodbye, ended with a horrifying experience that no one would ever forget.